I hope that this video is beneficial in that we're going to talk about everything and all things traveling with babies. My hope is that if you are planning a trip with your baby, the day you leave, the day you are packing, you're watching this video and you're just going from item to item, picking it up and throwing it in the bag, and you are able to use this video to your benefit. And that you set a timer to be there 2 hours before your flight leaves. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Hey, today is Thursday. Are you ready? I said, hey, today is Thursday.
First friends, then wives,
Now moms. Hey, today.
follow us on our journey.
Hey, today is Thursday. Are you ready? I said, hey, today is Thursday.
TreFresh killing the beat. TreFresh killing the beat. TreFresh killing the beat.
Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below. Today, we're going to talk about traveling with babies. Last Thanksgiving was my son's first time on a plane. So he was around 7 or 8 months, give or take, and we were going to Alabama for Thanksgiving. It's something that we do every year. So when it was coming, I was getting a little bit of anxiety about, his first time on a plane. I don't know how he's going to react. I had heard stories. Some of them were good, some of them were bad. So I didn't know where he stood on that spectrum because every baby is different. And I had some concerns. So first I want to talk about what to make sure to bring. So a lot of people don't know how the baggage policies work on airlines. Adults get carry-ons and whatever, but what people don't know is that babies get their own personal item, which could be their diaper bag or whatever personal item of theirs that you would like to carry with you. With the pumping mom, it's a bit difficult only because the personal item can't be your pumping bag because you need to have their diaper bag there. So what I ended up doing was being able to fit my pump bag inside of my carry-on so that I was able to just throw that up top with my pump in it. I kept it kind of minimal, but you have to always make sure to bring your flanges because I have found myself out without flanges and having to go to Bye Bye Baby and get a few, which, they're not cheap. So make sure you have your flanges. Make sure that you have your bottles to connect. You don't have to bring a whole bunch of bottles, but you can bring enough to just kind of store. And if you are a mass producer like I am, you'll have a whole bunch of milk. One thing people don't know also is that once you freeze the milk, you are free to travel with it. You're free to bring it on the plane with you. I'm not sure what the policy is of bringing unfrozen milk, but that is food for the baby, so it should be an exception. But you can bring frozen milk. So if you end up creating a stash while you're out somewhere, you can absolutely freeze it and bring it back. If you're like me, I was a milk donor at the time, so I arranged it where I would be shipping off a box of donation milk right before I left to come back here. I didn't have to travel with it and I didn't have to waste it. I did give the baby a couple milk baths just with maybe milk that had passed the 4-day period. Make sure you bring whatever you use to clean it. So like a bottle brush or something to clean your stuff. If something is happening and you have extra tubes or extra pump parts, you can make sure to try to bring some of that. Also breast milk storage bags if you're freezing them or whatever you're doing with them. Breast milk storage bags, and of course a Sharpie to write on them. All these are things that will kind of help you because it's very easy to forget things because you're packing not only for yourself, but you're packing for the baby, and then the pumping is a whole different thing for you that you have to bring. So making sure you bring your hands-free pump bra and the charger to your pump. Make sure you pack that charger because you don't want to get caught slipping. So that is your pump bag. Now the baby's diaper bag. You always want to bring some diapers. It depends on how much room you have. more than likely you don't have enough room to pack as many diapers as you're gonna need if, just say we're doing a week trip. Just say we're doing a week. We happen to be there for about 9 days, but just say for a week. Can you imagine how many diapers and how much space that is that you're gonna have to use? So I would suggest that you pack enough to get you on the plane, enough to keep in the bag as you're moving about, like going out to restaurants and doing things. But you can always run to Target or run. Everybody sells diapers, no matter where you are, they sell diapers. I would just get a soft pack. You don't have to go crazy buying a whole bunch, but get a soft pack that has enough in it to last you, but that you're not having to use all of that space trying to pack diapers. So just enough to get you by, enough to get you through the airport, enough to get you wherever you go after that, and then just to have in your bag, but not enough for the trip. Always pack wipes. I feel like for all intensive purposes, for what we're talking about, a 7-day trip, 1 pack of wipes should be okay. But if you find that, you know, maybe you'll need more, I wouldn't pack more than 1. Just get like something cheap when you get the diapers. Make sure you pack clothes, socks, shoes, undershirts, regular shirts. And I would also suggest to pack for every weather condition. You never know, you have to pack for every occasion. He may soil his clothes at one point, so you need to have a few extra outfits. He may end up running through 2 or 3 outfits in a day. Also, if you're somewhere where you can wash the clothes, then fine, but I would always bring a jacket, always bring like 1 or 2 long sleeve outfits, some extra shirts, some extra pants, just because you just never know. And you don't want to get caught slipping somewhere. These kids are very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. And so you just want to make sure. And I will talk a little bit about my experience with having to do a last minute clothing change, but we'll get into that later. I would also say bring towels. Bring 1 washcloth, 1 dry towel. You're not going to use more than 1 of each. If you deem it necessary, maybe 2 washcloths, but don't overpack you're not gonna use that many. We're talking about a 7-day trip, right? You're not gonna use that many towels, 2 face towels tops and a dry towel. His bathing stuff, so lotion, baby shampoo, baby wash, making sure that you have everything that he needs. Get you a little travel size thing of Aquaphor. If you don't have it and you don't have time to buy it beforehand, when you go to the local Walmart or Target in the city that you're in to get the diapers and possibly the wipes, look in the travel size section and see if you can get like some Aquaphor, because you never know if they're gonna have, you know, a diaper rash while you're out, or if their lips are gonna be dry and you just wanna put a little bit on there. You just never know. I keep a little travel size bottle in his bag, period. But especially when you don't have access to home where everything is, I would make sure to have some of that. A few toys. Not a lot of toys. Don't go crazy. Nothing too big, because again, you're dealing with 1 bag unless you're going, and I overpack myself, so I don't have room for his stuff. I don't have room for his stuff. His stuff has to go in his bag. So in one of the extra compartments of his bag, I just had a few toys, because it's gonna be a lot going on. He doesn't need too much. And if you do find that you do need something, there's a Ross, Marshalls, Walmart, wherever you are, where you can pick him up something. And if it's a place that you're gonna visit frequently, you can leave it, or you can take it back with you. You can have it in his hands as you go through security, you know, and you don't really have to put it in a bag per se. You can do something like that. Snacks for going on the plane. I did used to work at the airport at LAX, so I'm kind of familiar with some of the rules just as far as, you know, food and beverages and liquids. So you are not supposed to bring any liquids over 4 ounces. That's why they say bring travel size stuff. If you do like lotion and body wash and all that stuff, you bring in big bottles, you better check it in your bag, because you can't bring it on the plane. If you do try, they'll make you throw it away. So you might as well just Either bring something travel size or get it when you get where you're going. As far as snacks to get on the plane, you can bring snacks as long as it's not a large container with a beverage in it. Even water, you can freeze the water to take it through security and then let it, I guess, thaw out in the hours that you'll be in the air or anything like that. But I usually buy a water once I get through, because if it's rock hard solid to get through security, more than likely it's not going to thaw in time. You can bring whatever you want. Stop by, get a Subway sandwich for the you can get the baby whatever he wants, and as long as it's not liquid, you're good. Also, baby food jars. These baby food jars are 4 ounces. This is 4 ounces, so you can bring this. You can bring this. I don't suggest you pile up your bag with this, because this is cheap and you can get this wherever you're going. But you can put 3 or 4, 4 or 5 in the bag where, stick it wherever you can. You can absolutely do that. This is 4 ounces. This is not going to cause you any problems getting on. So I definitely brought some of these. Always bring a blanket, because you never know how cold it is going to be on the plane. You want to be able to hug and kiss your baby and comfort him. And a lot of times, even if you bring it just to, while you are wherever you are, lay it on the floor for tummy time, whatever, bring a blanket so that you can make sure you're prepared for anything. Another thing is, I believe it's like a 4-in-1 or multi-purpose breastfeeding cover-up. It has 2 holes. You do this, put it over your head, and you can breastfeed your baby in peace. But they're multi-purpose and 4-in-1 because they also act as covers for grocery baskets. You can put it over the grocery basket and sit your baby in it, and you don't have to worry about your baby like touching things that are unsanitary. They also cover high chairs at restaurants. So you go ahead and put this in and sit them in there with the same type of, it's the same type of deal as the grocery basket. But I would always bring one of these, especially if you're a breastfeeding mom, because let's just face it, this is life. You need this because you're gonna be breastfeeding everywhere. But also, if you're out of town, more than likely you're not at home cooking, so you're going to restaurants, you're going places, you're doing things, and you want to make sure that you can protect your baby as much as possible. So absolutely bring one of these. Stroller, car seat. You can definitely bring the stroller and the car seat. You check it at the gate, they'll put it under the plane, and they'll have it waiting for you when you get off of the plane. So you'll, of course, hold your baby while you're on the plane. And then once you get off, there'll be your stroller and your car seat there. They do have stroller and car seat bags. It's a huge bag that you can put both of them in, just so that you can know that your stroller and car seat is not, being ransacked around under the plane. And you can make sure that they stay together and that there are no mishaps. You can also, when you're doing something like that, if you have the travel tags, like something like this, you can put it on the bag. Just so that you can easily, because they all look the same. Most of the travel system bags are black, so if there are multiple families on the plane, you just want to make sure there is no, mishaps. Even if you don't have a bag, you can put one of these on the stroller, one of these on the car seat. If your car seat is not a distinct color or anything, but I just like to do it just so that there are no mix-ups whatsoever. If you, the same way you do this on the bags that you check, do it on your kids' stuff. Because yes, they have the little pink tag that they give you, with the receipt, but it's not 100%, and I just don't want any mix-ups. So yeah, one of these. If your child uses the pacifier, do not forget the pacifier, because they're going to be in new environments. The plane is something different, and you just want to make sure that you are able to handle them. If you want to wean them from the pacifier, don't do it on their first trip. Like, do it at home when they're comfortable and they can adjust properly. That was all for my checklist on what to bring with you for the baby. Another thing that I want to just talk about is being able to recognize that your baby is in a different place. I had to work on that with my son on the trip that we were on, just because you know, nap time may not be the same. We were 3 hours ahead there. So nap time is not the same. Sleep time is not the same. He may get a little more cranky. He may need different things. He may want to nurse more. It's just about being understanding that they're not tripping. They're just like adjusting. So I did have to figure that out. Another good thing about adjusting and being somewhere new is that he started crawling there. That was the first time we had ever seen him crawl. We saw him pull up, you know, by himself for the first time while we were out there. So it was very, for me, it was so rewarding going there, because I'm like, yeah, he's growing up. He's a big boy now. He's gotten on the plane. Now he want to crawl and pull up on things and do all of this stuff. But we had a really good time with him. His plane ride was pleasant. Surprisingly, regardless of what I had heard, my child did great. And one of the things that you can try to do if you are breastfeeding the baby during takeoff and when it's ascending into the air is a really good thing, because it's the same way they have adults chew gum to pop the ears. If you're having an ear problem, you don't know if the baby has an ear problem. He can't tell you that he feels like he can't pop his ears, and you can't give him gum, or you can't, you know, at this point, they're not really chewing like we are. So breastfeeding is a good way to make sure that his ears kind of stay clear. I did do that when we were ascending and descending, and he did great. I mean, he slept for a while. But other than that, he was just in between his dad and I, just hanging out. He had no adverse reactions to being in the air. He didn't have a hard time. We were in the air for probably about 4 hours. And I was truly blessed, because I was nervous about it. I didn't know what to do. If they are having a problem, then yeah, maybe a little Tylenol or something. But I didn't want to give him anything, just because I wanted to actually see how he was going to react and what he was going to do, and he did great. Do not rush. I'm going to say it again. Do not rush. Let me tell you why. I have learned this from experience. I have always, my whole life, pulled up right on time, ran through security like it was nothing, ran to my gate. Sometimes I would catch my flight right before they closed the doors. When you have a baby, it's just like getting up going to the store. There's no getting up going to the store without thinking about a million things when you're with a baby. The same thing with flying, if not worse. You need to be there 2 hours before, because you need to get through security. You need to be able to gauge what's going on with your baby, feed your baby if necessary, change your baby if necessary, do whatever needs to be done, because you cannot rush. It is a terrible, it is a recipe for disaster. Also, if you're there after they start boarding, that gets rid of the whole perk of traveling with the baby, is that you get on the plane before everybody. So I think they allow the wheelchair passengers on first, and afterwards it is babies. It's families with babies. So that is a perk in itself. It doesn't matter where you are on the boarding chain, you can hop on the plane before everybody. So don't give that up for anybody. I will say this is a tidbit of story time for you. I am telling you this because I know this from experience. When we were leaving to come back home, everything was fine. We were getting through security. We were just okay, but we were rushing. They were about to board our plane and we were about to miss it. But we got through security like it was nothing. We're flying to the gate and they are almost done boarding. Guess what? My baby went number 2. And it smelled like it was a for real number 2. Like, he was looking haunted. Like, please get this off of me. So I tried to hurry up right before they closed the doors. Hurry up and go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and they said last call. There was no time for me to do this. So I just rushed and got on the plane. We sat down. My husband had saved our seats. But there was a woman next to me that was on crutches. So it was no easy like, oh, can you please move so I can go to the bathroom? We were about to take off. So I said, okay, well, we just gonna have to change him right here. I wasn't thinking it was bad, but I pulled his little sweats down just a little bit off his hip, and it was a crime scene in those pants. I mean, all over his onesie, all over his legs. I just put it back up, and me and my husband were just looking at each other like, oh my God. It was an explosion, okay? It's worse than I had ever seen, but that's what we get for waiting to the last minute. So they ended up having some issues with like closing the overhead compartment. So I asked the flight attendant, is there any way possible that I can go to the bathroom really quick before we take off? He said really quick. So I'm having to look at the lady that's on crutches like, can you please move? She had to get up, move. I took his bag in there. When I tell you, and you know, those restrooms are so small. As an adult, one person, you can't even turn around comfortably. I'm in there with a baby. I pulled the changing table down, which is so small and right there. And I just took his clothes off. Crime scene. Took his clothes off and I just threw him in the trash. I threw him in the trash, I'm hearing a guy knocking like, ma'am, we gotta go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so I just started this was not even a job for baby wipes. This boy needs to get in the shower. So I just started taking paper towels, wetting them, like wiping them down. And then as I changed, and then I just threw everything in the trash. Everything, his clothes, I didn't care what he had on, socks, shoes, it's gone. This is so stressful for me. I did that, washed my hands, got out of there. I'm walking down the aisle and my son is just in a diaper. Like whatever you saw him in when he went in there, he don't have it on no more. It's gone. I looked up and like my brother was cracking up laughing because he's like, oh, it was that bad, huh? Like, oh my gosh. The people were like looking like, are you okay? I was like sweating. It was terrible. But it was all because I waited until the last minute. If you have to return a car, if you have to do things like this, you never know where the return center is. So please don't wait till the last minute. I don't know if you have flown in New Orleans, but the airport car return is like far. You have to take a tram to get there and then return your car. Then you have to take another tram back to where your gate is, back to the airport. So you cannot play games. Like as far as time is concerned, I have learned my lesson. I had never traveled with the baby, but now I know. Do not play those types of games. Anyway, long story short, based on that to-do list that I had given you guys beforehand, I had extra clothes. I had extra socks. So when I get back to my seat, I passed him off because I was a little frazzled. Tracy put his clothes back on and we went on about our business. But that's a horror story that will hopefully allow you to learn from me and do not wait until the last minute to get on your plane. But the rest of the plane ride went well. The trip went well. I had a great and awesome time and I hope that you will too. So that is my hope. Please let me know if there's anything that I missed. As always, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below. What did I miss? What are some tips that I know nothing about as far as traveling with a young baby and where I'm headed right now, traveling with a toddler? You know, let's talk about that. Please let me know if there are any other things that you would like for me to talk about or like for us to talk about as a group, as my mayhem. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is Tuzday. And until next time, guys.